aim, Kipsters will be able to write, try this again, write and simplify expressions for consumer math problems. So when we talk about the word consumer, that's somebody who buys stuff. So when we're talking about consumer math, we're talking about math that generally has to do with people buying stuff. Generally also has to do with things like taxes and when you make money and all kinds of stuff like that. So generally consumer math has to do with money type problems. So looking at this first one, says for her birthday, Ms. Crosby wanted a boxed set of her favorite TV show, which was on sale for 20% off the original price of X. How much is the discount? This is the first question. This is the one where you immediately are going to go, oh, well, the original price is X, and I'm taking off 20% of X. And you're going to write this down, and you're going to go, hey, Mr. Boots, this is my answer. Wrong. Why? Has nothing to do with the math. Everything to do with the problem. Mina, why? Even had you simplified it, I would still tell you wrong. Why? Right, so when we're looking at this, this says how much is the discount? Kip yes or kip no. Does that say what is the final price? No, it's asking for the discount. When we're talking about the discount, we're talking about only being worried about the part that was taken off the price. So what I'm going to do is, I don't mind you writing the expression like this originally, because I think it's a good habit and a good thing to be used to doing. But at this point, when we reread that problem and we see that it's only talking about the discount, I know that this is the only part that I'm worried about. I'm going to come back and mark out that X. Ivana, why did I go back and mark out that X? Why am I not worried about it? What in the problem tells me not to worry about that X? Sorry, louder.
Because we're looking for the discounted price.
I'm going to switch that just a little bit. If we were looking for the discounted price, we'd be looking for the entire price. But I know what you're thinking here is we're only looking for the discount. Okay, make sure that you're differentiating in your brain discounted price, which means what the actual price is, and the word just discount all by itself. All right? Jesus, why am I not worried about this X? Why am I erasing this X? Perfect. I couldn't say it any better myself. We're focused on the discount, not on the price. So this is the only part of this we need. Can we simplify this any further? No. Simplified form. 0.2x. You can put a negative on it. You cannot put a negative on it. Just depends on what the way the question answers are oriented. We know that this is a negative amount because we're taking away, but the question may just be asking us positively how we're taking it away. Just be aware that your answer could be positive or it could be negative, just depending on how you're viewing the problem. All right, Fernando earns $5,000 in a year. X% of that money goes to pay his state income tax. How much money would be left after his state taxes are paid? All right, so we want to know, this question asks me how much money would be left? All right, so looking at this, if we need to figure out how much is left, we probably ought to figure out and start with how much he started with. How much money did he start with? Mina? 5,000. Now, in this situation, is money added to his 5,000 or is money taken away from his 5,000? Kip yes if it's added, kip no if it's taken away. Need 100% response. That means I know 100% of us are learning today. Goes way back to 5th grade. All of us will learn today. Yeah, just like that. All right, so we're going to make sure all of us are learning today, so we should all be participating. No, this money is taking away. The stingy old government is saying, hey, we need some of that money to fix the roads and all that good stuff. Now, are they taking away a percentage of that money, or are they taking away a set amount? Should be able to answer that question. Are they taking away a percentage of that money, or are they taking away a set amount? Sammy. And what in the problem makes you think that? Yeah, and the problem says X percent is taken away. And that's the way taxes work. They take away a percentage of your income. So if they are not taking away a set amount, I can't just leave X, because X is not a set amount of money. It is a percentage. It is going to be that decimal. What do I need to multiply that percentage by? What do I need to multiply that percentage by? Leah G. 5,000. Now, if I want to go through and simplify this, I'm going to go ahead and just rewrite this in correct form. 5,000x. Is there anything I can do to simplify this? There's no like terms that we combine. I would totally accept if you said, hey, you know what, Mr. Boots, I see that I can factor this to be 5,000 times 1 minus x. That's totally fine. I would accept both of these answers as simplified. Okay? It just depends on how you want to see the answer. And it depends on how the person who's using this expression is planning on using this expression if you want to do it. For me, I feel like the simpler expression to use is the factored one, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily more simple than the unfactored one. Okay. At the grocery store, Ms. Crosby spends X dollars. If she pays 8% sales tax, how much money does she pay in all? This question asks, how much money does she pay in all? All right, so we're looking for the total amount of money, which means we need to start with however much she was going to originally pay. Originally, how much was she going to pay before anything happened? Juan, how much was she going to pay before anything happened?
X.
X. And that changed. Now, did that amount increase or did that amount decrease? You can show me with your fingers. A thumb up would be increase, a thumb down would be decrease. Getting some mixed opinions here. Somebody with a decrease finger, tell me why you think it's decrease. Callie.
It said if she pays 8%.
Okay. Somebody who had a thumb up, explain your reasoning. Ivana.
Because we're already spending that much and the noise are adding to this all over in this debt.
Yeah, so we're talking about we're already paying X, and now we're going to be paying More. That's the way sales tax works. Remember, when you go to the store and you pick up that that set of headphones for $9.99, and then you go to the counter, do you ever pay $9.99? No, you always pay more because it's always plus tax. All right. So here, that sales tax is being added on. Sales tax is calculated as a percentage of your total bill. So what do I need to be adding here? Giselle. 0.08 times the amount that was on the bill. Is there any way to simplify this one? Kip yes or Kip no. Is there any way to simplify this one? Ayla, how can I simplify this? Yeah, if I combine my like terms, right? So this has a coefficient of 1 that's hiding there, and this is really easy addition. It's $1 plus 8 cents would be $1.08. So 1.08 x. All we did was combine our like terms here. No big deal. Are there any questions so far? Let's get those questions out. Anything that you're unsure about? All right. We're going to get to some different and sometimes more complicated problems. All right, a used car salesman buys a car for $1,200, gives it a new paint job, and then sells it for a X% markup. He decides to cut a deal with somebody to take $100 off the price. Now, this is the way that there are a lot of, well, this is the way the world works. When you go to the convenience store and you buy that bag of chips for $1, that convenience store bought that bag of chips from Frito-Lay for like 20 cents. They marked up the price. Shh. But, I mean, if you think about it, the reason they're doing that is because they need to earn a living. And it is a bit of a service. They went to Frito-Lay and said, hey, I'm going to collect this bag of chips from your factory in Plano, Texas, and I'm going to transport it all the way to my store and have it conveniently located for you to pick up. So that's kind of what you're paying that extra for. Now, a used car salesman will do the same thing. He will buy a car off of somebody who doesn't want that car anymore, and then will kind of do a little bit of repair work on it, maybe, and then turn around and sell it to you for a higher price. He marks up the price. So, this particular situation, originally, the price of the car was what? What was the starting price of the car? Had he just been like, oh, I bought this car, I'm going to turn around and sell it for the exact same thing that I bought it for, Jesus, was what? $1,200. But he doesn't just stop at the $1,200. He says, I'm going to increase the price by X%. How am I going to represent increasing the price by X%? Luis. Addition. Specifically adding what? X% times what? Because remember, when we ever have that percent, we need whatever it's percent of. Yeah, the 1,200. So he has increased the price of this car, and now you're walking into his shop and you're like, oh, I don't really want to pay that. And he goes, you know what, Callie, I like you. I'm going to knock $100 off the price. So how is that going to change my expression? Jaquan? Minus 100. And we'll simplify this, and then after we simplify this, we'll do one example to talk about really quickly the real world result here. So what do I need to do to simplify this? John, what do I need to do to simplify this? Yep. To do what? All right, so he's going to get his 1,200 next to his negative 100, and then just rewrite this as 1,200x. And combine his like terms, he's going to get 1,100 plus 1,200x. Now, just because I want us to understand the real world context here, this is kind of a, Mr. Boots gives you a real world lesson, not necessarily a math one. Let's take 20% and plug that in for x. So that would be 1,100 plus 1,200 times 0.2. 1,100 plus 240. 1,340. So if there is a 20% markup, there's a 20% markup, how much does the used car salesman sell it for? How much does he sell it to Callie for? Aaliyah?
1,300.
Yeah, 1,340. So when he walked over to Callie and was like, Callie, I got a really good deal for you. I'm going to take $100 off the price. How good of a deal was it really? I mean, he's still selling it for more than he bought it for. So I guess that's a good deal for the dealer. Not necessarily a good deal for Callie. Sucker. All right. Daniel goes to Great Clips to get a fresh haircut. Normally the haircut costs X dollars. Daniel gets a $5 discount and has a coupon for an additional 20% off the discounted price. How much will the discount be? I'm focusing in on this one, and I'm already recognizing this one says, how much will the discount be? So I'll set this problem up like I normally would, but what am I really interested in this problem? Catherine? Yeah, how much the discount is, how much is subtracted. So I'm going to set it up like I normally would, Jacob, and then I'm going to go ahead and just ignore the starting price at the end. All right? So what's my starting price here? Chiguan. Yep. X. And from the starting price, what is my first discount? What's the first thing that we're taking away here, Giselle? $5. Now, we're not done yet because this says there's an additional 20% off. I think all of you immediately go, okay, minus 0.2, and then the question now becomes 0.2 times what? This is 20% off the discounted price. Mason, 20% of what?
20% of
X minus 5. 20% of the discounted price. 20% of the price after we took away the $5. Make sure that you're absolutely clear why we wrote it like this and why we did not just write it with X. All right, now let's go back to this. And we wrote this expression initially as if we were trying to find the final price. But then again, we said at the very beginning, we knew that we were only trying to find the discount. What part of this expression do I need to erase or get rid of because I'm only trying to find out how much the discount is? Adrian. Not quite the X minus the 5 because this minus 5 is part of the discount, but the X definitely is not part of the discounts. So here we have two discounts. That's the only part that we're actually worried about. Make sure that when you read problems, you read them carefully, and then you go back and you adjust your expression if it's only asking for the amount of the discount or the amount of the markup, okay? So looking at this, I can go ahead and simplify, leave, change, switch, leave, change, switch. I've got a distribution to do here. -5 plus -0.2 times x plus -0.2 times -5. -5 plus 0.2x plus 0.2 times 5, 0, carry the 1, 1 decimal, oh, that's just 1. Continue to simplify by commuting my like terms. And combine my like terms is going to give me -0.2x plus -4. All right, last one. And you'll have to pardon me, I went through changing names and I didn't change both names. This one should say Mr. Hannibal as well. All right, Mr. Hannibal pays X% federal income tax before he receives his paycheck each month. If Mr. Hannibal earns $5,500 in a month, how much will his paycheck be after federal income tax is taken out? All right, so this question says, how much will his paycheck be after it's taken out? So I'm looking for my final amount or my total amount. Question is, what do I start with? What does Mr. Hannibal start with before the greedy government comes in and takes some out? Brandon. 5,500. But sadly, Mr. Hannibal doesn't get to take home his 5,500 because the government comes in and says, sorry, I'm going to need some of that because I need to pay for the school system. I need to pay for the roads. I need to pay for all this other good stuff. All right, that's fine, whatever. Now, the federal government comes and takes that out as a lump sum, like a set amount, or does the federal income, or does the federal government come and take that out as a percentage? Percentage or a set amount? Crescent, are they taking a percentage or a set amount? Percentage. So, Aaliyah, how am I going to represent them taking away that percentage? How am I going to represent the federal government taking away a percentage of Mr. Hannibal's income? By X. How? What do you mean? I've got 5,500 as our starting, then what? Okay, subtracting X. But Crescent, your partner, just said that X was a percent. And we can't just subtract the percent. It needs to be a percent of something. So it's the X is the percent of what? Yeah, it's the percent of what we started with. And so when we rewrite this expression after that multiplication, 5,500 minus 5,500x. Kip yes or Kip no, can this be simplified? Mina, you're saying kind of. What do you mean?
You could put it in its factored form.
Yeah, we could put it in its factored form. We could put it in 5,500 times 1 minus x. Those are both fine. I don't really... I'm not going to force you to give either answer, but you do need to know both, because there is a distinct possibility that you could be asked for either one of these two answers on a multiple choice test. Not to mention, this kind of gives us a little bit This is the one I would prefer to use if I was plugging in a whole bunch of percentages. But that's just me. All right. Flip on over to your together time.